Welcome to the first of WebbPaton's online briefings brought to you virtually this year. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Becky Farthing from our professional team. Normally at this time of year, WebbPaton embark on delivering our seminars across 5 different locations in Oxfordshire and Wiltshire, which are well supported. Unfortunately, for obvious reasons this year, we are unable to do this. But even though we are living through a pandemic, there are just as much topics to update you on, if not more. To run through the format, we plan to bring you various online updates over the coming weeks and months, and they will be uploaded online where we will notify you beforehand. They will be in a similar format to our normal seminars, but shorter. All of our professional team at WebbPaton will be involved, so you lucky people will get to see all of our faces. Today, I'm joined by Libby Barron, who is going to run through the agricultural transition plan for us. Libby, what is the latest we know on Brexit? I know we left the EU as we entered into 2021, but what does this mean for agricultural policy?
So the Agricultural Act has now become law and consequently has provided a framework for what agricultural policy will look like, although a lot of the detail is still yet to be confirmed via statutory instruments.
And I've heard in passing something about the agricultural transition plan. What is this?
So the Agricultural Act has now confirmed what is to be known as the Agricultural Transition Plan, which started from the 1st of January this year and will end on the 31st of December 2027. By 2028, the government envisages farming no longer relying on public subsidy, whilst becoming more productive and efficient. The transition period has been designed to prepare and help farmers and landowners adapt for this shift in government support.
Before you start telling us about the planned changes to BPS over the coming years, what do farmers need to know about their BPS applications for 2021?
So there's a few things to be aware of. First and foremost, the 15th of May deadline is still in place. So that's still when you have to get your applications in by. However, this year we see the removal of those greening requirements. That's the EFA requirements and the crop diversification rules. So where you've had to grow at least 2 or 3 crops in the past few years, that now disappears. We also see the removal of the entitlement usage rule. So whereby when you had to claim all of your entitlements at least every 2 years, that now goes as well. Cross-compliance rules remain in place though, so we still have to abide by them, but it is the first year that we see the reductions from BPS being phased out.
So Libby, you mentioned that farmers will see a reduction in their BPS payments this year as they're being phased out. How much can farmers expect their BPS payment to be phased out by this year and in the coming years?
Yes, good question, Becky. Here is the table on the screen showing the planned percentages for BPS to reduce by year on year. You can see there are going to be bigger percentages applied to those who have the bigger claims. The money which is taken from BPS will go into funding the new upcoming schemes, such as ELMS. Now, I'm not going to be talking about ELMS this week, but Becky will be doing a separate webinar coming up. To note, the reductions will be pro rata. For example, if your claim amounts to £60,000, a reduction of 20% will not be made to the whole £60,000. Instead, the first £30,000 will see a 5% reduction, the next £20,000 will see a 10% reduction, and the final £10,000 will see a 20% reduction. So a £60,000 claim will reduce to £54,500 this year. Now you may be thinking that this isn't too bad, but let's just work that forward a minute. In 2024, which is only 3 years away, a £60,000 claim will be reduced to £27,500. That's a huge reduction that we all need to plan for. Now, the next slide shows you a table with more examples of the percentage reductions at play. Maybe you can roughly spot where you would fit into this table.
And what about reductions to BPS payments from 2024 onwards?
Beyond 2024, the percentages of these reductions will be increased until the final payments are made in the 2027 scheme year, and no BPS payments or DLEAP payments will be made after the 2027 scheme year.
Libby, we've heard various things about farmers receiving a lump sum payment for their BPS. What do we know about this, and when do we think farmers will be able to receive it?
You're quite right, Becky. We have mentioned this in the past, although I think we were all sceptical as to how this was going to work and how the government were going to come up with the cash. However, it has now been confirmed in the Agricultural Transition Plan that, all being well, the government plan for those who are eligible and who plan to leave farming will be able to take a lump sum exit payment from 2022 onwards, instead of collecting their remaining BPS annually as it is phased out by 2028. Crucial detail of how these BPS exit payments will work remain unknown at the moment. A consultation is set to open shortly, after which we will know a lot more detail. For example, who will be eligible and how they will calculate these lump sum payments. The transition plan also confirms BPS payments are to become de-linked from 2024 until they cease in 2027. This means you won't have to farm the land to receive the payments. Eligibility for both of the above points will be based on a reference period, but that is yet to be confirmed. And cross-compliance requirements and standards will continue until we de-link in 2024. After that, we will move to a new regulatory regime, which is yet to be confirmed.
And apart from ALMS, what other grants are going to be available to farmers in the short term?
Yes, there are going to be quite a few grants being introduced by the government in a push to get farming businesses ready to become more self-sufficient and not as reliant on their BPS income. You can see on the screen the proposed new grants. First of all, you've got the Farm Resilience Scheme. This will be a time-limited scheme open only for the first 3 years of the transition period. It will provide funding so farmers can access specialist and trusted support, and will help farmers make the right decisions for them. This scheme will be opening for applications in June this year. The Farming Investment Fund, there'll be 2 levels to this fund. Smaller scale farming will be delivered under the Farming Equipment Technology Fund, which will offer small grants to contribute towards the purchase of listed specified items, whereas the Farming Transformation Fund will provide larger grants towards the cost of substantial investments in equipment, technology, or infrastructure. Items under this may include on-farm water storage, robotic or automated technology, items to improve animal health and welfare, or equipment of processing agricultural products. Applications open in December 2021 for this. You've then got the Innovation Research and Development Scheme. That's set to open next year. This will provide funding for farmer-led projects to trial and demonstrate the viability of new and existing technologies to address immediate on-farm productivity and reduce greenhouse gases. Example projects could be trialing new feed additives or demonstrating the integration of autonomous farm machinery. We've then got the Slurry Investment Scheme. This will help farmers to invest in new slurry stores and equipment that currently do not meet current regulatory requirements. This is worth taking advantage of, as be warned, new legislation is going to be introduced, increasing the specification of existing slurry stores on farm. This will open next year as well. And then finally, we've got the New Entrant Support Scheme. This will provide funding to create lasting opportunities for new entrants to farming and to enable the creation of more startup innovation hubs, working with council farms and other landowners. It will provide new entrants access to land, infrastructure and support, and enable them to create successful businesses. And this will open next year for applications as well.
Thank you, Libby, for giving us a whistle-stop tour of the Agricultural Transition Plan. If any of you have any queries, please do not hesitate to get in contact with one of the team at WebbPaton. We hope you enjoyed our first online rural briefing update, and don't forget the next one will be released shortly and we will make sure we notify you beforehand. The next one will be running through changes to countryside stewardship and what the new environmental land management schemes will have to offer. Thank you once again, and hopefully we will see you shortly. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.